Hi, I'm Gene Fetty with DentTrainer.com. Today we're going to show you how to fix the dreaded Jeep dent. I'm going to show you what causes the dent, a few tips and tricks I've learned to get in there, how to finish the dent, everything from start to finish. Stick around. Alright, so here it is. There's the dent right there. It's actually caused by the mirror. This comes around and smacks this piece of the cowl whenever people will leave. When they take the door off of their Jeep, they release this bracket, hinge, strap, whatever you want to call it. And then they forget it, or the wind catches it, and the door swings all the way around and smacks into this piece of the cowl. The first thing I do before I do any of these dents is make sure that that strap is in place and intact. I actually had a Jeep one time where it was damaged. The strap was torn. We ordered one, but I said, well, I'm going to go ahead and go with the repair anyways. Bad idea. I came back the next day and the dent was smacked in again. Alright, so the first step, especially when you have the passenger side, the first thing is to take a 10mm wrench. We're going to get this antenna out of your way. And then just spin it out and throw it in the car so we don't misplace it and drop it. So the next thing you want to do is we're going to open the hood. I'm also going to throw something up here on the roof to cushion it, and I'll show you why we don't just use the hood prop. Okay, so if we stop here and just use the hood prop, our entry point to this piece is right through here. This is in our way. The beautiful thing about a Jeep is we can open the hood. I'm going to take a sweatshirt and put up here. You come on the side of the hood and go back slow. It lays down right in the middle of the frame for the windshield. We've got a towel or a sweatshirt or floor mat, whatever you have available, something soft to keep it from scratching. Now we've got perfect access right into here for what we need. Alright, so I'm going to grab the camera and bring it over here and show you just how deep this dent is. And there's actually a crease that I want you to see. So if you look down, right in the middle there, you can see that horizontal crease. That's from the corner of the mirror. That sort of dictates how difficult of a repair we're in for. My favorite light for seeing down inside a deep dent is the Cowl stocky light with the plain white lens. No fog line or anything like that. I will switch to his yellow board with a fog line down the middle to finish. But as far as seeing the bottom of a deep dent, I haven't found anything better than this. Alright, so tool-wise for the Jeep dents, I have two favorites. I'll start with this one because we're not actually going to use it today. It's just a simple flat bar that's bendable. Then I like to take a piece of leather and some tape to hold the leather in place. I use these when the dents are super, super deep. What happens is if you're in that little clip I just showed you, where the rail comes out is actually too narrow on the deepest ones for a round rod to get in. So I wanted to let you know that that's how we do these, even though I'm not going to use it on this particular repair. Right here's my go-to. It's an Ultra tool. It's the adjustable handles. It's bendable, so I like to put a bend about like this. It's a combination between having enough reach to get in there and have leverage without being too straight, and you get over here and there's nothing to push against, or you run out of leverage. It does accept the ultra soft tips. I really recommend them for these, and always start these repairs with a fresh tip. And I'll explain why in just a minute. So those are the tools. We'll get the Cowl stocky light. Here, one more tool I'm going to show you as we get started, and let's see how this thing comes out. Alright, so what we got here, it's been shown online a few times. There's a couple different, I think Ultra actually sells a stand. This is one I made on my own. So what I have here is a cymbal stand from one of the local music stores. I think I went to Guitar Center. Took some of the pieces off the end, went to Home Depot and got a 99-cent or $1.99 spring clamp. Attached it to the end with a nut and then the wing nut. And we clamped the heat gun in. So one of the biggest keys that I've found to doing a Jeep dent is to keep the paint soft so it doesn't crack. If you fail, It's normally broken paint. So I set the heat gun up here on a stand, and you'll figure out your distance. Normally, I'd say 10 to 12 inches is pretty safe, and I like to work on low. Before I turn it on, it's going to get loud, and I don't know how well you're going to hear me. I also use this, which is a digital infrared thermometer. As soon as we touch the button, it gives us an instant reading. You got here, you can see the fender's about 60 degrees. That's not nearly warm enough. I like to work these dents somewhere in the 160 to 170 degree range, and we adjust that temperature by moving this closer or further away from the fender. We're going to go ahead and turn it on, give it a minute to warm up, and I'll show you exactly how the temperature reads out, and then we're going to start pushing. Okay, so we've had this running for a couple of minutes. I don't know, 8, 9 inches is how far away we are. On low with this particular heat gun. And here's that thermometer. Look over here, we're at 74. As you get closer to the dent, the number climbs. There we go, now we're up in the 162, 4. So we're good. That temperature will hold as long as we want to work on it, as long as we don't change this distance. So you see how the frame rail or whatever this piece is, see how it kicks out to the left? Those dents, and actually if you look real close, right there to the outside of the panel, you can see where the dent is. These dents always fall back where that becomes a little bit more narrow. All right, so we've got our brand new soft tip on here. Nothing through it yet. The reason you want to start with a brand new tip on these dents, because this panel is so hot now, as we go in, first it's going to be slippery, but because it's so warm, it actually makes the rubber a lot softer. It's easy. You'll push through and not even realize it. I don't know that I've ever done a Jeep dent perfectly without catching a push through, but you'll see as we do the dent, I'll pull the tool out and I'm going to rotate it around to get to a fresh spot, go in, work the dent out. Now let me talk a little bit about the theory or what we're going to do here. When my trainer originally taught me, he called this sort of the volcano approach. So what we're going to do, because this is so deep, we've got a sharp dent here like this. It's not going to just turn flat or inside out and finish it with a knockdown. It's actually going to come up and volcano. So you have a crater in the middle. And that's that crease that I talked about in the beginning of the video. You're going to do it like this. We're going to bring it up with the soft tip and then take our knockdown and knock this ridge, spread the metal out, bring it up until we get to a very defined line of that crease with no hard shoulders. Then I'm going to switch to a steel tip, just take the soft tip off, and go in and finish it. See how she looks. Here we go.